traveling with Harvey Fuqua. Harvey picked them up in Washington, D.C., where Marvin grew up and was raised. And from there, they embarked out on tour because the Moonglows was Harvey Fuqua's band. And he just kind of rotated in his doo-woppers. It was a doo-wop group. So that was definitely appealing to the youth of the now 50s, right? And it was late 50s. But that whole genre of doo-wop, right? Like Marvin got into the music business into doo-wop. And that's actually a very telling beginning. That actually can kind of help keep that context associated with Marvin from the very beginning through to the very end. Marvin never lets go of the form of doo-wop. And I hope that I'll remember to kind of dive a little deeper into this later on. You know what? I have a feeling I would forget, so I'm going to speak to it right now. When I say to keep it in mind that Marvin never lets go of the form of doo-wop, what I mean by that is that let's fast forward now to this next page in the book that I'm looking at, and it's this beautiful picture. I'm actually surprised I haven't taken this picture out of this book and have it hanging on my wall. It's a picture of Marvin. You can tell it's 1980s. He looks great though. He looks really healthy, and he's holding a microphone, wearing this nice black jacket and a white crisp shirt underneath. He's got a white pocket patch and white pants, and he just looks very sharp. But the way through to this end portion of Marvin's career, and only ending because his life ended, he still constantly relied on the form of doo-wop, in that Marvin was his own personal doo-wop quartet, cinquet, whatever, sextet, whatever, however many number of people are making up the different levels. And I'm not a musician, right? So as I'm going to be speaking to you about these things, you're not going to hear me referring to things musically technically correct, right? I don't know what this and that is elements of music, but I know Marvin's music, and I know the way that he kind of went about giving me the sounds of his music. So I can definitely tell you about the different sounds of Marvin's music. Marvin made his multi-layered harmonies, approaching each layer that he created and blended in of himself into his music, coming at it as the doo-wop format. So Marvin would sing this level, right? Then Marvin would come in and he would sing the next level. And then Marvin would come in and he would sing the third level, the fourth level, the fifth level. He would sing every single individual part that at the same time a doo-wop group is singing in harmony, right? Marvin always harmonized with himself. Now, he dove deep into doing that once he took full control of his career in the 70s. What's going on is where he breaks those chains and he's like, F it, I've got full control of the sounds that I'm making, point blank, period. Nobody else is producing my music. So, and then once he was there and he just really had it all in hand, he just went all the way in. And what he began doing, and from that point forward all the time, was multi-layering himself into his music. And as I said, just coming in at each. So, and here's some terms that I know, right? It's like the alto, it's the tenor, it's the bass, it's the blah, da, 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 right? It's each one of those. If you are trying out for the choir, right? And they have you sing a little part of the song, they can tell the register that your voice best fits into. Well, here was the absolutely frickin' superhuman thing about Marvin is that his voice fit seamlessly, perfectly into so many different registers, right? I saw something recently. I've been doing so much searching for Gaye material, mostly images and stuff. But as I'm searching for those things, I'll come across uh, websites that, have some type of a full on article going on along with these multiple pictures. And so something that I saw recently said he had a 4 octave range. Right. And I know that I did learn how to play the piano very beginner level at this exact same age when I was starting to learn Marvin's music. I was taking piano lessons every weekend. And so I do know the different octaves, right? It's lower until it gets to the higher. That's like the low pitch to the high pitch of the sound. So Marvin had a pitch perfect though, and I would be surprised if it was actually limited to 4. I think if you would listen to Marvin can like sing the scales of the piano. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but they said he had a 4 octave range. And what I know, if they're saying that and they're attributing that to him, this is what I can guarantee you: pitch perfect in every single register. Like, it's like, what do you need him to sing? And how do you need him to sound singing it? He's gonna hit it right there for you. Take is done. You know what I mean? So it's not a problem. He's got you covered. He's got himself covered. And he's always creating these multiple layers of himself that then come in, and they, on the back end, they get blended in and they get layered in. And so then what you're ending up hearing is Marvin just as the choir. He is his own choir. The single most gift from heaven example of that is on a double disc, like re-release, special edition, reissue. They always are doing, Motown is doing these re-release issues of the albums. Not probably not so much anymore, but where it's the studio version that was released plus now all of the unreleased, all of the studio sessions, the stuff that didn't make it to the album, Marvin's drafts, right? And so there, and I don't remember, it was in the late 90s that this one came out, of I Want You, the album I Want You. It is the studio session take of him singing track number 9, which is Dreamed of You this morning, then came the dawn. What the hell is the name of that song? Soon I'll Be Loving You. Soon I'll Be Loving You. It's the studio version of that, the unreleased version of that. And at the very end of the track, so like the song is done and it kind of has ended and there's silence, but then they bring in just do, 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 do. And I, of course, what is the motto, folks? Only Marvin will do. Okay, so I just did absolutely no service to that, but it's at the end of that track where it glides in, it plays you this little, I don't know, how long is it, 15, 20 seconds of an example of Marvin singing himself. You know what I'm saying? He's just singing every single layer and level of the music, and it is a sound from heaven. That's just the only way to describe it. So you got to hear that. But that's doo-wop.